Son, the Holy Ghost in me.
Hello everyone, welcome to another End Times 4565 video, and I kind of got things back in shape in the studio here, but not quite, but pretty close. So, been a week or so, but there's been some very interesting things happen. Some things I want to talk to you about. First, I want to talk to you about the mysterious ping noise that's in the Arctic Ocean, and no one really knows what that's about yet. But there is investigations by the Navy, and a strange noise also in the Antarctic from undersea, but that's another story. Then I want to talk to you about pestilences, and I want you to know the latest news is that you're not really getting is from my sources that they're a little worried about Ebola because now it has mutated into a different strain where it's possible that it could be contact related and are airborne. So they're working on that, and that seems to be the latest update on Ebola. And of course then there's paralyzing disease to children. It's like polio, but it isn't. Not really sure what it is. It could be a new strain of polio. Not sure where it came from or why it's taken root. But mostly it's an attack against the children. Next thing I want to talk to you about real quick is FEMA. FEMA seems to be meeting with NASA. NASA has requested FEMA, so the heads of FEMA have been in closed-door sessions with NASA. Now, I know some of you don't like NASA, and that's okay. And I don't really like them either. But these are strange bedfellows, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure what that's all about. The next thing is the incoming object, and that would be next. Other than that, the only news that's new to my notes is John Kerry going to Antarctica. No one really understands why that he's going to Antarctica except for quote-unquote climate change. And there is a climate change, ladies and gentlemen, and it's very disturbing, but it's not man-made. And so I guess he's going down there to have a look-see. Also, they've released some images WikiLeaks did of Antarctica. And if you'll notice all the images of Antarctica, one thing in common is melting ice. Seems to be a lot of melting ice, and the heating below the water surface is continuing to ramp up along with the Arctic Ocean. The Arctic Ocean is way behind schedule, and the reason is because of warming waters. Ladies and gentlemen, from the poles, I will show you in a moment what that is all about. Now remember, I told you Neptune and Uranus were going to be our next victims to the incoming object. You see on your screen here, you see a photograph of Uranus. Now, you see here, it says on 10/10/16, there was no ghosting or no sort of a storm there. Okay, so now we'll go here, see if it'll play. And the next photograph that you're going to see was taken on 5th November, behind and not left or right. Notice how it's gassing, they're calling it gassing or debris, coming off of Uranus from the top. And that reason is because the incoming object is coming on their southern eclipse. It's coming on the southern eclipse. It's coming under there, and it's starting to ramp up trouble with Uranus. Neptune has already been twisted. But now, with that being said, I want to show you what's happened to Pluto, ladies and gentlemen, and you must pay close attention to what I show you about that. Okay, so I want to show you this, ladies and gentlemen. This is some imagery of what happened to Pluto as the incoming object went past. Of course, the photographs came late because it's so far away. Let's observe. This is what I want to show you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pluto, cracked, frozen, and tipped. Cracked, frozen, and tipped over. New clues from Pluto's past. So now, I want to show you these images of Pluto as something happened. Okay? And then I want you to observe exactly what happens. This is from Sputnik Planitia, and here she goes. Did you see it? Rotated it around and then pulled it down as the incoming object went to the south. All right. You have to pay close attention to that. Okay, I'm going to try to get it for you one more time here. All right, here we go. Watch it one more time. What happens when the incoming object passes below Pluto? There it is. Did you see it? You say, well, a pole shift can't happen n times 4, 5, 6, 5. This is not a magnetic pole shift, ladies and gentlemen. This is a physical pole shift. And I want you to understand that if it can happen to Pluto, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to happen to us because the incoming object is going to be much closer to us than it was to Pluto. So, physical pole shift? I would say yes, ladies and gentlemen. A physical pole shift will happen, and make no mistake about it, but you're not seeing any of this. You don't see any of this on mainstream media. Okay, they're not going to talk about this on the mainstream media because they're just not going to want to. But there's your evidence right there. And remember, this is a pole shift video, and I'm not discussing the Bible right now. Now I want to discuss a couple of comments that I received. And I'm going to get to that right now, and then we'll discuss the Earth's wobble. I had someone make a comment to me, and you would say, well, don't address these comments, say n times 4, 5, 6, 5. It just gives them more fuel. No, I don't think so. And, you know, in my honesty that I've promised to you, I must be honest to those subscribers who don't particularly like what I say. And I don't even know if he's a subscriber. Probably not. He got mad at me because apparently his child saw one of my videos and ran to his father asking him if they were all going to die. And so I guess he had to take time to explain, and it kind of put him on the spot, and he didn't like that. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that our children need to be educated on things that could happen or probably will happen. And preparedness, ladies and gentlemen, does not happen because you want to keep yourself safe, especially if you have children. You want to prepare yourself so that your children can survive. They need to understand. That's why it's important for them to understand the Bible. But I know there's a lot of you who don't give a snap's grab about the Bible. But you could at least discuss this oncoming pole shift that will take place when this incoming object goes by. Now, and that's a fact. And so I remember in 1976 when I was going to college to be an engineer, a surveyor. We were told in Engineering 101 in 1976 that there was going to be a great pole shift. And we were told this because it will change everything. Every deed of land ever recorded is going to have to be repaired. Because most deeds have a description of something like 30 degrees north, 5 degrees east. Latitude and longitude, ladies and gentlemen. It's all going to change. And all these documents will have to be repaired. You won't be able to do them all at once. You'll have to do them as each one comes into play, such as a sale or something of that sort, if there's anybody left around to buy or sell land. So we were told in 1976 explicitly by our professors that a pole shift was coming. Next thing I want to discuss is a comment that I got from someone when my video about Russia getting ready to attack Aleppo. And the comment was false alarm. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in spite of that person's comment of false alarm, once again, their ignorance has shown to be bliss, because we know that 2 days ago, Russia began attacks in Syria and Aleppo. The bombing has begun. Now, if you watch Hussein Obama taking questions from the German media, one of the questions was, what does he have to say about the bombing of Aleppo by Russia? So if you don't want to take my word for it, you can just watch that interview. And he hem-hawed around, by the way, with the answer. Just because you're not seeing it on mainstream media, ladies and gentlemen, don't mean it's right or wrong. It just means it ain't there. And there's a reason for that. And the reason is you, ladies and gentlemen. So if you think that I'm way out there somewhere, before you let your fingers do the talking, you might want to let your mind do the walking and study out what you see. Okay? My images of Pluto are facts. That's the way it is. Now, quickly, let's discuss this wobble. You can see here that I was wrong. I said that it would probably hang out around the outer edge, but you can see here that it has crossed over from last year and the year before. So now this is even worse, because if it goes deep inside, that's way worse than staying outside. It would mean that it would be calming down. Now, someone says the Earth has always wobbled. Well, Mr. Scientist, yes, it has, but never in such a degree from zero tilt as this. It's being pulled south, and as the equinox comes, it's being pulled. Now, you cannot deny this fact more than it ever has. I never said the earth didn't wobble ever. I said that its tilt and wobble is more now than it's ever been because uh, of the coordinates that we can see. Now, with it crossing this line, if it continues to go deep in before back out, that is a huge gain. In other words, way out here, way in here. Ladies and gentlemen, that's big. And the reason is because the earth is being pulled south. The sun's being pulled south. The solar system is being affected and pulled south. You can find the information, it's out there. There is there's a pull on the solar system. There's a pull. Here's the sun, here's the solar system. Let me do it like this. Okay? The sun is being pulled. Even the sun is affected by this incoming object. Pay attention. Because one day when you wake up, it's not going to be like it was yesterday. And if you're not ready, it's going to be too dang late. And I'm not a fearmonger. I'm just trying to tell you, you really need to consider getting things ready. Now, here where I live, we've had three brownouts in 2 weeks. And what that has done, it has caused me to consider my next action. I have to make sure that I'm prepared. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to be ready because you don't know. I'm sitting there 1 minute, then no lights, just like that. What will you do? Where will you go? How will you survive? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours later? I don't know. If you're not ready, you probably won't. Now the earth is about to be shaken, rattled, and rolled, ladies and gentlemen. This incoming object is going to affect us as it already has. So now, let's discuss the magnetic field. Okay, so now that we're going to discuss the magnetic field, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to watch. Note the strength of the fields coming now from the North and South Pole, and notice how the closed loops are heating up. Ladies and gentlemen, the Earth is under tremendous pressure. The interplanetary magnetic field continues to flow past. It stops. It breaks. And the reason is, ladies and gentlemen, you see these waves of plasma here of helium, and they continue to go against the flow. Notice that. Here we go again, starting here, how heavy it is. Notice the interplanetary magnetic field being broken as the plasma comes in, and the polar cap magnetic field begins to weaken and be pulled apart as this plasma begins to bring a reversing flow. Is this the third wave? Could this be the third wave, ladies and gentlemen, that reverses the polarity of our shields? Could this be a third wave? Notice it coming in. I'm just asking a question. I'm not an astrophysicist or a magnetophysicist, but I have studied some and I see it. I'm looking at it, and here it is. As it approaches, it begins to break us down. Notice how the magnetic field begins to break down as the plasma field approaches. Now this looks like that the plasma field is coming this way. But in reality, what you're seeing is you're looking down, and this plasma field is coming up this from the direction of the south. Is coming up underneath us and affecting us on the bottom side, on the Antarctica side. This is why Antarctica is having issues, because the pressure on the southern part of the earth, below the southern part of the equator, the southern hemisphere is under pressure. Now, I'm going to show you that, but you see this right here. Look at all this polar magnetic caps field, and it's wonderful. and then it starts to weaken as this plasma approaches. It begins to fight against it and break it down, ladies and gentlemen. Make no mistake about it, it's right there in front of your eyes. Now, I want to show you one more piece of evidence right here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Earthquake 3D. Now, I want to show you something here. This is the southern hemisphere. See how far, now the further the circles are, the deeper the quake is. Okay? Notice over here in the New Zealand area, these deep quakes, and then this shallow quake, which was recorded. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just from 2 days ago. This is 7 days right here. All right, this is the big earthquake in New Zealand. Now here I want to tell you that because recently we had these other deep quakes in the same area, here, okay? And we come around to South America. Ladies and gentlemen, you see this right here? Look at this. Look at these three. Okay, you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? That South America, Central America, and our New Zealand are about to get hit again with another huge quake. There's one coming down here on the southern hemisphere. That being said, the upper hemisphere, or the northern part, which is us, is not doing all that well either. This is Puerto Rico, and let's turn this down a little bit to, let's say, last 2 days. See this? This is a swarm. See how they're getting deeper and deeper? This is bad news. This is bad news here for these areas, for the crossover. We have Yellowstone area, here, West Coast kicking up here, Hawaii. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you there's an uptick. And the reason for this uptick is plain. Watch it as it goes around. Even in northern Africa. What? Unprecedented. Greece again. Italy, look. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand that there's huge pressure. I'm going to show it to you one more time. That's why you see this down here by Antarctica. See this swarm? Let's turn this up now. Ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake about it. The southern part of the earth is getting hammered right now. Come on, let's take a good look at it. Let's make sure we got the right information. This, ladies and gentlemen, is absolute proof that there's problems below the earth coming in from the underside. See this? See this? This is unprecedented. Now, what you need to know, ladies and gentlemen, is the facts are what they are. So, in closing, I want you to understand that this is very, very important. What you're seeing happening to the earth, ladies and gentlemen, is reality. Earthquakes in diverse places, increase of quakes, pestilence, death, wars, rumors of wars. Make no mistake about it. This incoming object is a godsend. It's a godsend. What I want you to know is the rapture could take place at any minute. And if you're not ready, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to feel the pressure of God and whatever means He uses to fulfill the prophecies, but they will happen. I'm going to do another video, and I want to discuss the two witnesses in the Antichrist for a few minutes. So for those of you who don't like Bible talk, maybe don't watch it. Maybe you should watch it, because I'm going to tell you some things that are going to be very important for you to watch for. So with that being said, look out, look out, look out. Don't get caught blindsided, because Jesus Christ's return is imminent.
Pardon me, I've got something to say. When soul goes tired, the devil he comes to play. This old cat's been sitting on a fence too long. Jesus is the light in my corner, darkness is long gone. What was I thinking? Did I think I was fooling? The devil's out cold on the floor. It's Jesus with the TKO. The combination can't be beat. I got the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost in me.